Question number 4 from ChatGPT. How can I improve the quality of my podcast content to make it more appealing to my audience? I want to create content that my viewers will find interesting and informative. That is a very, that question depends really, I think, from person to person. Depends on what your niche is, depends on, maybe that would be a good thing to add for the next ChatGPT prompt is like asking about a specific niche. That might make the questions more specific. I'll have to write that down. But how to improve the quality of the podcast content? Well, you could start the actual, the substance, the actual what you say and present in the podcast aside for a moment. One thing you can do is try to improve the quality of your podcast, whether that be, get some better lighting, maybe upgrade to a better camera. As I've said before, audio is a big thing. If your audio sucks, it's going to be hard for someone to sit around and listen to however, in half an hour to an hour or whatever of your podcast, because it's just going to be like knives stabbing in your ears. So think about upping your quality game is just as far as the production value. And then as far as the content itself, that's a tough one because you kind of got to look internally a little bit there. You got to ask yourself, would I be interested in the content that I'm creating? And if the answer is no, or if you're a little bit bored by the stuff that you're creating, then you might need to change things up a little bit. Also think about, look at your intros and your outros and other elements you include in your podcast. If you've got like a super long intro that's like a couple minutes long, there's really no need for that. I hate it enough as it is, like sitting, there's those podcasts where they load up all their ads in the beginning, like 5 or 6 minutes of ads, and I just sit there and fast forward through all of them. It's the same thing with a long intro, especially if it's the same intro every episode and it's always 2 minutes. I don't want to sit through a 2-minute episode or 2-minute intro every episode of your podcast. That's why, my podcast intro is literally just like 3 seconds, and then we're right into it. Or at least that's my goal, at least, to just keep the intro short. Nobody cares about the intro. Make it memorable, make it short, get right into the content. Keep it flowing, keep it moving. Try not to repeat yourself too much. And again, experiment. Look back and see what kind of episodes have performed maybe a little bit better than others. I've seen a lot of the episodes I've done so far have been pretty gear focused, and that's because people like to hear about gear, especially in podcasting. So focus on that maybe a little bit more than some other subjects, because that's just the stuff that people want to hear about. So you could do that. You could run some polls on other social media channels. Hey, like what are you interested in hearing about? Maybe just the stuff that you're presenting is just not exactly resonating with the audience that you are intending to capture.